we compulsively binge a story, even if, structurally, it isn't perfect? Well, it turns out this whole mystery boils down to one simple thing: our hardwired desire for emotional connection. If we don't feel it, we just don't care. So, writers have this brilliant secret weapon. They call them universal fantasies. Basically, these are core concepts that massive groups of people can instantly relate to. Think about the classic underdog who suddenly hits it big. Writers use these concepts to hook us in, letting us live vicariously through the characters. We literally keep turning the page because we want to see our own hidden desires fulfilled. To put this into perspective, researcher Brené Brown actually mapped out 87 distinct human emotions in her book Atlas of the Heart. 87. She beautifully describes our inner emotional landscape as a terrifying, unpredictable wilderness. And honestly, that hits the nail on the head. Telling a great story is all about successfully navigating that exact wilderness. Which brings us to Section 2, Evolution of the Dragon, from unholy beasts to psychological mirrors. Trace the Western dragon over a 2,500-year timeline, and the evolution is just wild. Back in the 7th century BCE, Homer was writing about these mindless Greek serpents. By the 8th century, Beowulf is citing a fire-breathing beast. The 13th century gives us St. George slaying a purely evil dragon. But then, things shift. In 1898, we get the reluctant dragon, who actually likes poetry. By 1937, Tolkien introduces Smaug, evil, sure, but incredibly intelligent and conversational. And today, we have dragons acting like giant lovable puppies, like Toothless. Talk about a massive rebrand. So why this stark contrast? Well, right around the turn of the 20th century, psychoanalysts like Freud and Jung started popularizing the study of the inner self. And as we began to understand our own complex emotional landscape, our literature evolved right alongside us. Dragons morphed from these nameless, mindless beasts that just needed to be killed into named, highly cognitive, and even friendly reflections of our own psychological depth. There's this fantastic quote from fantasy author Ursula K. Le Guin that perfectly sums this up. She said, "People who deny the existence of dragons are often eaten by dragons from within." It's so true. They aren't just monsters to slay anymore, they're symbols of that wild, unholy part of ourselves that we actually need to confront, understand, and integrate. Let's jump into Section 3, Folklore and Local Legends, the Dragons of Pahang. To see how deeply these myths integrate with the real world, we're traveling to Southeast Asia. Academic research out of University Malaysia Pahang dives deep into the folklore surrounding Chini Lake. In these texts, you find rich legends of the Naga Seri Gumam. Here, the dragon isn't just a mirror for the mind, it's a historical lens. It explains local geography and symbolizes this ancient necessary harmony between the people and their local ecosystem. The local lore details a very specific magical evolution. The myth says that ancient magic practitioners seeking immense power had to undergo a brutal hermitage to become dragons. Picture this: you cover yourself in thick mud for 100 years. As they meditated, their scales would literally upgrade every 25 years. You start with ordinary scales, then iron at 25 years, bronze at 50, silver at 75, until you finally hit that 100-year mark and achieve the ultimate golden scales. And these legends literally shaped the map. One famous myth tells of a pair of dragons heading to the South China Sea. During the trip, the female dragon's cloth slipped. While she waited for her partner to grab it, she heard a rooster crowing for dawn. Because they were cursed to turn to rock if daylight touched them outside their hermitage, she froze into stone forever. Today, local folklore says her petrified body forms the iconic sharp peaks of Toman Island. All right, Section 4, Modern Myth and Fantasy, the Dragon King Oath. Bringing it back to the present, modern creators are completely running with this evolved lore. Take the upcoming 2024 webcomic Dragon King Oath by Leanne M. Krasik, also known to her huge fanbase as Monji. It follows Princess Lisette, who is essentially given as a tribute to a fearsome dragon named Wraith to keep an ancient peace pact intact. Instead of just slaying a monster, she has to confront her own prejudices. It's a gorgeous example of our modern desire to find harmony with the beast. And finally, Section 5, the storyteller's chemistry, bring legends to life. Because here's the thing, whether you're recounting an ancient Malaysian legend or co-hosting a modern audio explainer, delivering a story effectively requires incredible human connection. You might listen to a pair of co-hosts and think their banter is just natural talent, But data actually shows it typically takes 30 to 50 episodes for podcast hosts to develop that effortless chemistry listeners love. 30 to 50. Building that rapport is a highly practiced skill. Co-hosts literally have to invest time hanging out off mic. They build a subtle communication shorthand, they let inside jokes happen organically, and they learn each other's energy rhythms. And honestly, the biggest thing, they have to tackle their stylistic clashes and conflicts head on before they ever hit record. It's almost like an iceberg. What you as a listener hear, the easy flow, the genuine laughs, finishing each other's sentences, that's just the tip. What chemistry actually is beneath the surface is deep familiarity, intense vulnerability, practically choreographed handoffs, and really honest feedback. Trust is what lets storytellers safely navigate their own emotional wilderness together, bringing those 87 emotions to life for the audience. So whether you are writing the next great fantasy epic, hosting a show, or really just going about your day-to-day life, the most important story we tell is how we connect with the wildness inside ourselves. We've watched the dragon evolve from a terrifying monster to a mirror of our own minds, which leaves me with one final question for you. Which dragons in your own emotional wilderness are you finally ready to befriend? Thanks so much for diving into this explainer with us. Keep exploring, and we'll catch you in the next one.